Well, hello again. This is Pam. It's Friday, May 8th, and welcome to the reading of the Record Courier. We'll begin today's reading with the area deaths. Paul Frederick Schaefer, age 95, of Randolph, passed away Tuesday, May 5th, in University Hospital, Cleveland. He had a stroke and a brain bleed on Monday and passed away peacefully the next day. Regretfully, because of the COVID-19 virus, the Mass of Christian burial will only include the immediate family. Kenneth R. Krause, Sr., 91 years of age, was our gift to God on Monday, May 4th. A memorial service at the Green Family Funeral Home and crematory service in Mantua will be announced at a later date. Evelyn M. Earls, 86, of Streetsboro, passed away Sunday, April 26th, at the Avenue at Macedonia. There will be an announcement at a later time regarding a public celebration of life to be held at Faith Baptist Church. Patricia A. Wilkins Snyder, 76, from Gaffney, South Carolina, passed away on April 29th at Spartanburg Regional Hospice Home after a very brief illness. Arrangements are with Community Mortuary in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Robert B. Bernard Dove, at 85, was called home on May 4th to be with his Lord and Savior. Private family services will be held on Saturday, May 9th, at Shorts, Spicer, Crislip Funeral Homes in Streetsboro. Vondell Nelson, 80 years of age, passed away Tuesday, May 5th, at his residence. Visitation will be held Monday, May 11th, with social distancing maintained at the Green Family Funeral Home and crematory services in Mantua from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., where a private funeral service will then begin at 11 a.m. Jesse Ross, 70, of Ravenna, passed away Wednesday, April 29th, at University Hospital Portage Medical Center in Ravenna. At the family's request, cremation has taken place and no services are planned at this time. Helen V. Ryback, 89, passed away May 4th. Born in New Jersey, she lived most of her life in Kent. Private graveside services will be held at the convenience of the family. Well, this concludes the reading of the Record Courier Friday area death notices. Let's move on to our first article. Slight increase of COVID-19 cases seen in counties' nursing homes, by Diane Smith. The number of cumulative cases of coronavirus among nursing home residents has seen a slight increase, while the number of current cases dropped slightly and 3 additional lives were claimed by the virus this week. The Ohio Department of Health reported a total of 42 current cases and 61 cumulative cases at long-term care facilities in Portage County. That's 2 fewer current cases and 3 additional cumulative cases since statistics were released a week ago. The cases are at the same Portage County nursing homes, the Avenue of Aurora and Anna Maria in Aurora, the Arbors of Streetsboro, and the Woodlands Health and Rehabilitation Center in Ravenna. Anna Maria had 6 current resident cases, 15 cumulative, 1 current staff case, and 2 cumulative. The Arbors of Streetsboro had 10 current resident cases, 19 cumulative, 1 current staff case, and 3 cumulative. The Avenues of Aurora had 5 current resident cases, which make 5 cumulative, and 2 current staff cases, both cumulative. And Woodlands had 22 current resident cases, all cumulative, with 1 cumulative staff and no current staff infected. The ODH also reported that 11 residents of long-term care facilities in Portage County had died, 3 more than last week. The ODH stated that current cases reflect cases as of May 6th, and cumulative cases began April 15th, so earlier data is excluded. The list of long-term care facilities does not include patients who have recovered or died as of April 15th. Kent Health Commissioner Joan Seidel has estimated that 17 of the county's then 22 deaths involved residents in long-term care. Portage County officials hosted a media briefing Thursday to provide an update on coronavirus efforts. Bill Benoit, president of University Hospital's Portage Medical Center, said there are now only 2 patients hospitalized in Ravenna for the virus, and both are doing well. He expected there to be no patient hospitalized as of next week. Joseph Diorio, Portage County Health Commissioner, said residents in long-term care facilities are the hardest hit and also the most vulnerable because of underlying health conditions. Many of those residents, he noted, have do not resuscitate orders. He said residents with positive results are isolated in an area to keep them away from residents who don't have the virus. He said the residents are monitored 3 times a day, meaning that they check their symptoms. Staff, he said, are checked every day, including limiting their entrances and checking temperatures daily. Portage County now has 265 confirmed cases of coronavirus and 46 deaths. Those cases include 79 people over the age of 80, with 21 hospitalizations and 27 deaths, 50 in their 70s with 20 hospitalized and 14 deaths, 37 in their 60s with 11 hospitalizations and 3 deaths, 39 in their 50s, 10 hospitalized and a death, 19 in their 40s, 3 hospitalized and 1 death, 15 in their 30s, 2 hospitalized, 15 in their 20s, 4 hospitalized, and 4 cases in people under the age of 20. Well, we're getting better, I hope. Our next article is titled Local Restaurateurs Eager to Begin Reopening by Bob Gachins. Although eager to reopen, several local restaurants and bar owners have mixed reactions to Governor DeWine's announcement Thursday that outdoor service can resume May 15, followed by indoor service on May 21. Sandy Notek, owner of Tavern 1888 in Ravenna, said she's ready and eager to open. I'm really excited that we're going to go forward with this, she said. I will make sure my girls wear masks and that we wear gloves. Treva Weaver, Chief Operating Officer of North Wasserstrom and owner of Zoop Eatery, headed a committee representing bars, restaurants, cafes, and eateries of all sizes and shapes that developed guidelines for reopening. During DeWine's Thursday press conference, she laid out some of the basic rules under which businesses could open May 15 and 21. Restaurants and bars are going to be asked to create a floor plan that complies with current social distancing guidelines, separating parties by 6 feet or a physical barrier, she said. She also explained that the committee developed best practices for owners and staff at establishments. Grace Ozewski, co-owner of Old Chefski's Barbecue, said she looks forward to offering outdoor dining as work is completed on the interior of the restaurant's new location in Aurora. We're hoping to get our picnic tables, weather permitting, out on the 15th, she said. Tavern 1888 is ready to open as soon as possible, said Notek. We're moving a lot of tables away from each other, and we've taken all the precautions that we can, she said, adding she has an outdoor dining area approved. Mike Beater, who owns or co-owns several Kent establishments, including the Water Street Tavern, Tree City Coffee, the Franklin Hotel Bar, Erie Street Kitchen, and Venice Cafe, said he's planning to be cautious about opening with limited seating due to social distancing requirements. I'm still kind of processing it, he said of the governor's announcement. I think it's a responsible model in terms of safety, but I don't think it's a sustainable model economically, which makes it sort of pointless. I'll probably hold off and see how it works before I decide if it makes sense to pursue opening or not. He explained that even the best-run restaurants may be challenged to operate at a profit if it's not operating at capacity. A textbook business model for a restaurant operates at 5% profit, and that's if everything's running perfectly, he said. Although, he said, Tree City is doing good business with its drive-through window, bars and restaurants like his downtown Kent are reliant on a social experience, which will be limited under the May 21 opening rules. Patrons will not be able to mingle as one normally would at bars. In addition, he said, servers would need to serve drinks at patrons' tables rather than at the bar. Ozewski said construction is moving ahead steadily at Olszewski's new location, and the restaurant will be ready to open in early to mid-June. The barbecue restaurant has been operating out of a trailer at 15 Trails End, the site of their new restaurant. Olszewski said the restaurant also heard its Economic Disaster Fund loan has been approved recently. Everything just falls right into place sometimes, she says. How the reopenings will look? Well, DeWine cautioned the state's phase-in reopening is accompanied by increased risk of exposure to the virus and repeatedly pleaded for Ohioans to be cautious, following social distancing, and wear masks. While restaurants and bars that have been limited to drive-through, carry-out, and delivery services since March 15 can begin serving patrons on outdoor patios and outside dining areas beginning May 15, inside meal service will not be permitted until May 21, with virus precautions such as 6-foot social distancing between tables. Servers will be required to wear face masks, with cooks and backroom employees exempt. Guests also could be asked to wear masks. Capacity limits could be imposed based on restaurant and bar space. Some personal service businesses are also permitted to reopen on May 15, limited to nail salons, barbers, and hair salons, day spas, and tanning shops after enacting best practices recommended by the working groups. Barbers, stylists, and cosmetologists will wear masks while dealing with customers who could be asked to wait outside until their appointment and to enter alone, except for those accompanying children and caregivers for other adults. Waiting areas will follow social distancing. All have been closed since March 15th under a stay-at-home order closing unessential businesses. Ohio's 23,000 restaurants subsequently laid off an estimated 300,000 plus employees with the loss of dine-in service. We need to do two things at once: bring back our economy and at the same time stay safe, DeWine said. This is something we're not going to run through quickly. What we have to do is fight back against the virus is quite complex. As we open up, the risks go up. The more contacts we have, the more we do, there is more risk, he said, adding each person infected with coronavirus on average infects one more person. The opening up of this economy is going to make those cases go higher, he added. This is a new gamble, a new journey, marked with danger signs. The danger is we relax, he said. If we relax, take things for granted, things are not going to go the way we want. We don't want to see a spike. Our next article is titled Field to End School Year Early to Hold Private Commencements. Field Local Schools will end its school year a few days early, and the class of 2020 graduation will consist of individual private ceremonies, Superintendent Dave Hefflinger announced on Thursday. The district was supposed to end classes on June 4, but now the last day for instruction will be May 28th. Staff will spend the final week preparing for different possibilities for next school year. I have no idea what school will look like in the fall. We are doing our best to prepare for many different options, but it is impossible to have all the planning complete until we know what that model will be, Hefflinger said. Regarding commencement, high school principal Michael Garrity will reach out to seniors with information to set up appointments. Each family will have its own appointment time over several days, beginning on May 26. A photographer will be available for photos, and each student will be recorded. The district will put together a video compilation and provide a copy to any senior who requests it. Building principals will also be reaching out to provide dates, times, and directions for students to clean out and pick up items left at school and to drop off school materials still at home. Beginning May 19, all offices in the district will be open to the public on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., but the district is strongly encouraging to conduct business by email or phone. Hefflinger noted that all staff will be wearing masks, and he asks that visitors wear masks as well. Our next article is titled, UH Portage Gets a Flyover from Youngstown Air Reserve. The 910th Airlift Wing out of Youngstown flew two C-130H Hercules aircraft over University Hospital Portage Medical Center on Thursday morning as part of its Hercs Over America program. The flyovers are meant to honor first responders and frontline medical workers fighting the coronavirus pandemic. This was the second round of flyovers for the Air Force reservists. After positive responses from its first flyover on Monday for Akron, Canton, and Youngstown area-based facilities, the Airlift Wing decided to reach more facilities and more essential workers on Thursday. In addition to UH Portage Medical Center in Ravenna, Thursday's flyover reached medical facilities in Conneaut, Ashtabula, Geneva, Paynesville, Euclid, Mayfield Heights, Akron, Canton, Dover, Alliance, Salem, East Liverpool, Boardman, and Warren, as well as Newcastle, Farrell, and Sharon, Pennsylvania. Moving on, the next article, PARTA gets $4.1 million in federal funds. The Portage Area Regional Transportation Authority will receive $4.1 million in federal funding, money that the transit agency said will allow transit services to continue and keep workers on its payroll during the corona pandemic. It's extremely important to us, said PARTA General Manager Claudia Armheim. Without it, like other agencies, we would have been looking at major cuts. The federal funds will allow PARTA to keep its employees on the payroll and off unemployment, Armheim added. The money comes from $25 billion earmarked for public transit in the federal $2 trillion CARE package. We certainly are thankful to Congress and the President for the funding, and we hope that it will allow us to maintain our essential services, Armheim said. On April 1, PARTA reduced service on all its fixed routes and initiated rotating employee work groups. The agency said the moves were necessary to protect the health and safety of its workforce while adapting to a sharp decline in ridership sparked by Governor DeWine's stay-at-home order, which was issued to contain the spread of the coronavirus. PARTA will begin to gradually ramp up service next week. However, loss of revenue is anticipated well into next year. We're still providing essential trips for the people of Portage County, said Armheim. We know that without the service PARTA provides, the current public health crisis would be even more challenging for those who depend on our services. Well, our next article is titled, Woman Charged After What Police Say Was a Random Attack in Ravenna. A 39-year-old Ravenna woman was arrested on Wednesday after she allegedly attacked another woman on Locust Lane in Ravenna on Wednesday. The woman, Crystal Grady of 105 East Main Street, was charged with robbery, a second-degree felony. According to a Ravenna Police Department report, Grady randomly attacked another woman on Locust Lane around 4:52 p.m., during which time the victim dropped her cell phone and her vape pen. Grady allegedly picked up the vape pen and left the scene, saying the victim wouldn't get it back. A friend with the victim tried to get the vape pen back and was also attacked. Both women had multiple abrasions to their faces. The victim had hair pulled out from her head, and her friend had a front tooth knocked out. Grady was placed in the Portage County Jail in lieu of a $50,000 cash or surety bond. A hearing is scheduled for July 10. No attorney is listed in the court records. Wow. Our next article is titled, Crestwood to Hold Drive-In Commencement. Crestwood High School will hold a commencement ceremony at Midway Drive-In in Ravenna Township on June the 3rd. The gates will open at 7 p.m. and commencement will begin at 8 p.m., featuring a procession of vehicles containing the seniors and their families. Each graduate will be given 2 vehicle admission tickets. There is no limit to the number of people who attend as long as they can fit in 2 vehicles. Due to space availability, the vehicle containing the senior will be assigned a spot near the front, while the other vehicle will be assigned a spot in the back. The virtual graduation, featuring an edited video of the seniors individually receiving their diplomas at the high school on May 6 and 7, will be shown on the big screen at 9:20 p.m. That video will be followed by a movie chosen by the senior class for those who choose to remain to watch. The high school is working on the possibility of live streaming the event. As in previous years, each graduate will receive a no-cost copy of the entire ceremony. I understand that this may be difficult for many of us, me included, to be faced with the need to celebrate such an important milestone in our kids' lives in a very non-traditional way. Please join me in a positive spirit, making the best that we can of a very difficult, unfortunate situation. Our graduates deserve the best that we can provide, Principal Dave McMahon said. Well, the next article is titled, Hawk Attacking the Residents in a Kent Neighborhood by Eileen McClory. A hawk in the neighborhood of Elmwood Drive off East Main Street is reportedly attacking residents walking alone in the neighborhood. Joan Seidel of the Kent Health Department said her office has gotten complaints about the bird along with reports of injuries from what residents reported as attacks. She said the office has contacted the U.S. Department of Agriculture, who thought the hawk was likely a red-shouldered hawk who was nesting nearby. This type of hawk tends to target young children, slowly moving people, and the elderly, she said in an email. She said the USDA said the hawk's nest couldn't be moved while the bird was nesting, though the health department had asked a USDA person to come out and inspect the nest. For that, they would need permission from the property owner. The address of the nest is not being published, so the bird will be left alone. Laura Mullen, a neighborhood resident, said about 5 people had been attacked in the neighborhood, including the postman. She said the hawk appeared to be attacking people who were walking alone. Jeff Westerfield, supervisor over wildlife conflict for the Ohio Division of Wildlife in northeastern Ohio, said the hawk usually nests for about 45 days. The red-shouldered hawks generally will attack people from behind while their backs are turned, he added. He suggested that people who needed to walk by the area should carry an open umbrella, as the hawks don't usually attack umbrellas. He also said residents should not turn their backs on the hawks. For the next few days or weeks, we ask for residents to alter their walking routes, Seidel said. If someone must be out in the area, wear a hard hat as opposed to a cloth hat, or consider carrying an open umbrella as if it were raining. To limit encounters and potential injuries, we ask everyone to respect this and all wild animals, especially ones trying to protect their young. Well, now for my favorite part, it's sound off time. This pandemic has really highlighted the systemic flaws of our government, both local and national. Shame on Portage County for its lack of transparency in reporting the true number of cases and deaths in nursing homes from COVID-19. Your job is to protect the public health. Families have a right to know. Also, why haven't you intervened at some of these facilities where large numbers have occurred instead of watching along the sidelines? We cannot always trust or rely on our government for protection. Just so you know, your job is more than giving annual flu shots. Next one. How does the professors' union at Kent State justify not taking a pay cut when everyone else is taking one? Many of its members are the loudest advocates of a continued shutdown while they continue to pull down their paychecks. Put your money where your mouths are, you selfish hypocrites. Next one. I want to express my gratitude to all first responders, National Guard, frontline medical staff, all doctors and nurses, and volunteers who are working together to help us through these trying times. You're the best. The next one. A recent Sound Off post decried the hatred directed toward Trump. I don't condone hatred. It is like an acid that corrodes its container more than hurting others. But let's look at how he started his political career. Name-calling, nasty remarks about so many things, lies, self-absorption, etc. As the saying goes, you reap what you sow. I suspect he had a terrible childhood despite being privileged in many ways. He doesn't appear to have any capacity for empathy, and everything is about him. Even during this pandemic, his main concern seems to be ratings. You can sound off at an email at rpso@recordpub.com. Please keep your comments brief and civil, or we'll have to edit or not publish. No comments, positive or negative, about local candidates running for office will be accepted. The phone number for Sound Off is 330-298-1138. And now, Portage County Crime Reports, the one we've all been waiting for. In Freedom Township, a 24-year-old Freedom Township man was charged with domestic violence, a first-degree misdemeanor, after an incident on Wednesday. A warrant was issued for his arrest. In Kent, Jason Messer, 42, of North DePeyster Street in Kent, was charged with domestic violence, a fourth-degree felony, after an incident Friday on North DePeyster Street. According to court records, Messer has a prior conviction for domestic violence. A temporary protection order was filed, and he was released on a 10% of $20,000 bond. Moving to Ravenna, Ronald Delphia Jr., 20, of 145 Van Buren Avenue in Ravenna, and Sidney Vascoy, 19, of 3108 Route 303 Manawa, were each charged with possession of drugs, a second-degree felony. They allegedly had over 20,000 grams of marijuana on Thursday. Delphia was released on a $25,000 personal recognizance bond. Vascoy is still in the Portage County Jail in lieu of a $25,000 bond. Also in Ravenna, a 21-year-old Ravenna man was charged with domestic violence, a first-degree misdemeanor, after an incident on Thursday. A temporary protection order was issued. He has pleaded not guilty and was released on a personal recognizance bond. In Atwater, a 72-year-old Atwater man was charged with aggravated menacing, a first-degree misdemeanor. According to court records, the man yelled at a woman and shot at her while she was fishing in the area of Stroop Road and Petrie Road across the road from his home. A summons was issued. In Edinburgh Township, a 24-year-old Charlestown man and a 20-year-old Deerfield woman were both charged with possession of drugs, a first-degree misdemeanor. The man was also charged with possession of marijuana, a minor misdemeanor, after an incident on Friday. Hearings were scheduled. In Kent, Dustin M. Sees, 36 of 427 Ryko Street, Akron, was charged with breaking and entering, a fifth-degree felony, after an incident on March 18th on Fairchild Avenue. He was also charged with breaking and entering, also a fifth-degree felony, after an incident on March 3rd at a different address on Fairchild Avenue. A warrant was issued for his arrest. A 45-year-old Monroe Falls man was charged with disorderly conduct, a minor misdemeanor, after an incident on Sunday. He was released on a recognizance bond and faces a $68 fine. In Garrettsville, a 20-year-old Garrettsville woman was charged with assault, a first-degree misdemeanor. After an incident on Friday on Liberty Street, she was released on a recognizance bond. Well, my good friends, this concludes the reading of the Record Courier for Friday, May 9th, 2020. This is Pam saying please keep yourself safe.